Good evening, and welcome to Tuesday night training here at the Crossroads. I had asked earlier if you would get your Bibles. Don't think that the kingdom is not centered around the Word, because it is. Yes, and I know a lot of people. First of all, where's my manners? Thank you so much for tuning in and for allowing me to come into your homes or your place of businesses or wherever it is you're looking at this particular broadcast at this time. I pray the blessings of God in your lives. I literally do, in your lives, because your life is so valuable. It is so valuable. You are a valuable commodity, whether you know it or not. You literally are. You are worth so much. And I don't care who told you you'll never amount to nothing. You sorry, you lazy, you no good. They did not know what I know. And they did not know what you're about to know. And I don't want, and I do understand that there's some people that live and has been living under that stigma from what people have said. But I'm here tonight to let you know that you are so valuable. I'm valuable. You are so needed. I'm needed. It is literally a joy, and it should be a joy for all of us in life now just to be alive. Yeah. We understand there's so much going on, there's so much happening, but let's get into what we are doing and why we're still here and what we're supposed to be doing. That's what's going to be really good. Of course, the book of the month, I'm going to say it again, is Rejects Wanted, Chosen for Greatness. This book, once again, was written by Dr. Antonio Hurt. This is from his Nigger Boy, Nigger Girl series. It's an urban collection that he has done. I would admonish you that for those of you that don't have it, I promise you that if you just get this book and if you would read this book, you will see a whole lot of you, and then you'll be able to find out the truth about you and what they didn't want you to know based on what they did to you. But as I was reading this, there's a part in here that he has, and it's called Patterns and Plans. And I'm going to start with this first tonight, and I'm going to read this. He says, you must stay true to the purpose and plans of God for your life and seek him daily for guidance. Listen at what he said. He said the purpose and plans for your life is from who? God. It's from God. He's dead on point, because according to Proverbs, it says many are the plans of a man's heart, but it is God's what? God's purpose for our lives that's going to prevail. That's what it is. He says don't get off course in this season. So that means that we have to stay focused. And you got to have something that you're going to focus on. We should be focusing on our purpose and reaching our goal. That should be our focus. Don't get off course this season, and don't allow people to hinder you from things you know you are called to do. This book is so power-packed and full of so many truths, so many sayings, and so many nuggets that if you literally will just get it and read it, you will see yourself, and you would be able to then recognize what's been going on in your life. Here it is. He continues by saying, he says, your key to promotion and elevation rests in the fact that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Okay. Not by what people said about you, not about what people said to you, not about what they called you, not about them laughing at you. Man, we getting ready to get us out of the way. Yeah. We're literally literally getting ready to get us out of the way. You know, we're good for not moving because we feel that we're justified, that we don't have to move based on what somebody said or what somebody did. And so what we've done is we've stayed under that stigma, and we've stayed in that place, and we're looking for sympathy and empathy from all people. How many times have you told the same story about what has happened to you, about who did it to you, about what you was doing, about why they did it, about you not having the understanding? How many times have you in life, since it has happened, listen, it's over. How many times since it's been over have you repeated the same thing that was done? That's your holdup. You know it by heart, and you probably told it so many times that you forgot that somebody you went back to a second time and you began to tell it to them. They started talking with you about the same thing because they know it by heart too now. We got to get out of that. You literally have to come up out of that. Jaden, if you won't mind, how would you shut blinds for me, please? We have what we call somewhat like an open forum on tonight. You will hear others, and they will be speaking, and they will be saying whatever it is. But I want you to hear that because, see, it's time now. This is the year of kingdom greatness. This is the year that you recognize that what's in you has always been in you. But there's been so many years and for so long a time, those things that's in us have been pressed down. It wasn't shaken together and running over, but it was pressed down and it was suppressed. Shut the blinds, please. And it was suppressed, and it was and you did not. You would not move. You were determined not to move. Why? Because that weighed heavily on you. And so whenever we go in front of people and whenever we do, the only thing that we have to contribute to the conversations is we look for a way, we look for an opening to tell why we are where we are and what happened that brought us to that place. Looking for something, empathy and sympathy, whenever you were supposed to be looking for the next person that was on your path to get you closer to the place where you have to go to, which is your goal and your purpose. So then he says, your key to promotion and elevation rests in the fact that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and you must remain connected to the Creator to keep moving forward. Who did he say you have to be connected to for forward movement?
The Creator.
And who is your Creator?
God.
No, you got to stay connected to your best friend, your girlfriend,
God.
you know, the clique that you in, you know, your pastor and all this. No.
God.
He said you have to stay connected to God. Yes. And that's an individual connection. That's you being connected. That's me being connected. I can't be connected with you too. You can't be connected with me too. Individual. We have to remain connected to God. I told you we was worth a lot. He goes on to say that you're worth more, but I got to get to this place right here. And this is actually before I just read that. This is such a key statement. So true. And I know you probably never even thought about it. Listen at this. In most cases, you will find you can't accept acceptance until you learn how to accept rejection. You can't even accept being accepted until you learn how to accept that you were rejected. Yeah, I know. It's like, wow. And everybody is looking to be accepted, but you're carrying in those places your rejection and you wanting to be accepted in places that you can't even be released from to be accepted into. It doesn't work that way. You are worth so much more. And if you can just free yourself, if you can free yourself from yourself, from having that mindset, from having the memory, and for always being readily available to talk about what happened to you, but you're not readily available to talk about moving on. You're not readily available to talk about what it is you see, because you have nothing in sight because of everything that you just literally you continue to face. And that's just the rejection. And then, like I said, we don't even really have the understanding that the rejection that you faced was needed. It was needed. You said, nobody don't deserve to be treated like that. You did. I did. Because that had to occur. And we have to come out of it to be able to know that not only did God count us faithful to be able to go into it and Him bring us out, but on the other side of coming out, you should see something of you far more greater. As a matter of fact, you probably had to go through that so that you would be able to see exactly what you were worth, what you could endure, how much you could take, how long you could take it, how long you could endure it. And then to understand, you're still here. You're still here. I love it. Why? You had to be rejected. But your rejection and being rejected is not for us to hold our head down, not for us to look for other people to pat us on our back and be mad with the persons that did whatever they did. In other words, we need to know how to appreciate God for life. We need to know how to appreciate God for endurance. We need to know how to appreciate and how to love God, that He not only sustained us, but He kept us in it and brought us out of it. But in it was a valuable lesson.
Yes.
And the reason why you continue to talk about what it is you've been through is because in your mind you're still in it.
Wow.
It's all about a mind. It's all about the mind. It literally is. Can I show you something? Everybody loves and everybody wants what?
Money.
Ta-da! Money. I want you to get your word, and I want to show you, because money literally is tied to your purpose. Money literally is where you're going to get to in your goal. And what your goal is, your goal is going to be the thing that attracts everything to you, that's going to keep you going and flowing in all areas of your life. And God has really been so good to us that He has literally given us something that we never looked at, but He's literally given us a brain. He's given us the spirit. He's given us a mind. And He wanted us to use these things. He wanted us to be able to use these things to create what it was we would need that would really help us in our purpose. And when we get there, when we reach that goal, everything we have need of, it will already be there. The needs will have been met. So I'm going to start in Deuteronomy the 7th and the 8th chapter. One reason why, and I'm not going into it because I think I'd asked them to read it. And the key to Deuteronomy 7 and 8 is that God literally, after delivering the children of Israel out of Egypt, He literally took them through the wilderness because He wanted them now to come out of the slave mentality, the slavery and the bondage mentality. See, sometimes you can be free in the body but never free in the mind. So God had them to go into the wilderness so that He could free their minds. He wanted them to begin to think differently, being free than they did in bondage. In other words, in bondage, they didn't have a mind to think. Come on, y'all. When you're in bondage, somebody's always telling you, and you, whether you agree or disagree, but whenever you find out that you're in bondage to someone or something, you literally really don't have a mind. The only thing your mind tells you is yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Okay, all right, I will. It's done. Yes. No. That's it. But whenever you're free, you not only need to be free in body for forward movement, but you also need to be free in mind. Because without your mind being free, it will shut down your body. If your mind is not free, your body will not move. Why? Because you will always remember, just as they did. You will always remember where it is you came from. And because you can't see where it is you're going, because you can't hold that where you're going, where you see you're going, you can't hold that in your mind because somebody else has had your mind for so long. Whenever it's time for you to get your own mind, change the way you think, it does not last that long at all. You can hear something, it doesn't last that long. You can't hold it that long. Why? Because that requires work. That requires me to think. That requires me to have to make a decision. That requires me to have to move. That requires me to be my own person. I don't know how to do that. So it's just better for me just to go back into the mindset and let somebody else think for me. Let somebody else tell me how it's supposed to be done. And then I'll do what they say. No, it's time for you now to do what's in you to do. Yes.
And I think that's based in fear, because if I go out on my own and I do whatever it takes or whatever needs to be done for myself, then it's always, I think our mind sometimes goes to the fact that it's a 50-50 thing.
I don't know if they can hear it that well.
Okay. That it's a 50-50 thing. And what I mean by that is either I'm going to be successful or I'm going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to fail. I want to be successful. However, if you tell me to do now and I do it, then you're held accountable
Exactly.
for my success or my failure.
Exactly.
Period. So I don't want to be held accountable. I don't want to have to think now for myself in the failure, because it's good if I succeed. I can reap the benefits of success and I can keep moving. It's that failure now that I'm fearful of, because now if I don't succeed and I do fail at that moment, now my mind has to work again. Just like you said, it's about the work. But if I fail and you told me, now your mind has to work for me to get me out of whatever it is I'm in, and so I can get promoted or progress to the next level.
Exactly. And that's the way it is. That literally is the way it is. And that's the way people that has been in bondage, who's given their mind over to someone else to think for them, coming out, that's the way they really think. You know, if I was to do this, then and if it doesn't work, then I'm to blame. But if I allow you to tell me what to do and it failed, then it's on you.
Right.
And this is what God was doing. God was taking them out. He had Moses to lead them out, and he took them into the wilderness so that he could humble them and then see if they would get the mindset that they needed in order to be able to go into. See, us having our goals, that's like a land filled with milk and honey. You know, but you have to be prepared mentally for that place that you're going to. You literally have to be prepared. You have to have the right mind in order to be able to function in that place. And in order for everything that's going to come to you in that place to come to you, we have to have the right mind. And that's what we have missed, lacked, not had for a long period of time. Check this out. We weren't in slavery per se. We weren't in bondage per se. Not that some ruler ruled over us, But what we literally did in life, and you all can attest to this, of course, from our beginning, everything that we know and everything that we go from and how we live, some people from today is from what was put into us. And we live that. Whatsoever comes at us, we measure that by what's already in us, and we compare it, and if it fits what's in me, then it's all right. But if it don't, then I have to reject that. And it all that rejection comes from another mindset. It comes from that subconscious mind that everything in life from our open mind has been dumped into our mind and went into us, and then that is how we live from. But that's the mindset that we have to come out of. So we were literally slaves to a way of thinking based on everything that was put into us. Today we have the opportunity. Right now we have the opportunity. You will take the opportunity, because this is 2022. We're not looking for no get-rich-quick scheme. We're only looking to get to the place of promise. That's that goal. You have a goal. You have a dream. You have something in you. And to get to where it is you see, to be able to do what you've always wanted to do, it's going to take another way of looking at how to get there. Point blank, period. So, if anybody have anything that you want to say out here on the floor, you can just get the mic, and I'll stop and I'll give you that opportunity. I have on the board, we're coming from Matthew the 25th chapter. I just want to show you, I want to literally show you. One thing that Jesus did was this. He would always, tell stories, parables. They weren't literal stories. That's not what they were. But he was just using those stories to try to explain the kingdom. That's all it was. He was explaining to them the kingdom. And now kingdom literally began in Genesis, the 1st chapter, in the 26th verse. It's all dealing with dominion. It's time for us to come out of the mindset that somebody is over me and come into the mindset that I have dominion over. And that's not people. That's just us being able to dominate the things that we need to dominate in order to get to the goal, in order to get to the promised land, if you want to use that per se. And so this is what this dominion was. It was dealing with the rulership, the authority. It was all dealing, and still yet is dealing with kingdom. So in Matthew the 25th chapter, I started at verse 14, because Jesus here now, he's telling this story, and he's talking to the disciples. He's giving it to them in a parable. I call it a story. And he's saying that that there was a man who had property, and he was getting ready to go away, but he was going to leave it in the hands of his servant. And now the servants that he's actually talking about, if you're going to understand kingdom, is the citizens. It's actually the sons. That's what it is. And which that particular, the sons, then it just equates to us, mankind. That's just what it equates to, us. And he's using this to explain to us Genesis 1:26, okay? And so we start at verse 14. So then he calls them to him, and he tells them that he's going to be going away. And in verse number 15, it tells about what the master had, and what he then began to distribute to the servants. He said to one, he gave one of them 5 bags of gold. And then you might ask, he's like, well, why is Jesus using money? Why is he using money? He's using money because money is the most personal thing to every last one of us. Money is so personal. Yes.
And it's powerful as well.
Money is personal and it's powerful.
It's powerful.
Okay, she said, money is personal and it is powerful. And that is the reason why Christ used money. Okay? And matter of fact, it's so personal. Where do we keep it?
On our purse.
In our purse. In your purse. It's just that personal. You have to keep it. You
I
keep it.
keep mine in my bosom.
Perfect.
Real close.
She said she keep hers real close in her bosom. You remember the old people that used to keep it like that too, right? And it's so personal, you know, that we don't. Let me tell you one good thing. It's not really that good, but it gets us to the place where it's so personal, and like you said, we keep it in our purse, and only us. It's only us as individuals. We don't even know how much of it we have. You don't know how much money you have. You don't. You literally don't. It's the most powerful thing on earth next to God. Money is the most powerful thing. You say, oh, no it ain't. It's the devil. No it ain't. Money is more powerful than even the devil. That's right. You don't believe it? Jesus said it. Jesus told his disciples. He said there's only two masters on earth. God and money. He never said God and the devil. God and money. Money is something that everybody wants. Money is something that everybody needs. As a matter of fact, the word of God says, money answereth all things. You got a question? What's the answer?
Money.
One thing about the kingdom has no lack. In the kingdom, there is no lack. There is no scarcity. But what is the most scarce things in people's lives today? Money. You never seem to get enough of it. You can't make enough. So, in the kingdom, we find out here in verse 15, when it starts talking about how much the master gave them, we miss this. We miss what he's saying. He did not give them according to what the master had, according to how much money he had. The word says that he gave them what he gave them according to what?
Their
Ability.
Their what?
Ability.
You don't, what you have is all you have because it's all you seem to be able to manage. He did not give it to him because he had a whole lot. But he only gave to them according to what they were able to manage. According to their ability. Read it. It tells you. So now, stop and think for a minute. See, what we do with what we have causes God to look at it and see if he can give us some more or if he has to take away what it is we got. And that's what our problem is sometimes. We begin to pray and ask God for money, but you don't need to pray over what you're able to handle. You say, oh man. No, I'm telling you, oh man, for real. I don't care. If he gave you $100 and you couldn't give him back 10, so he's not going to even be able to give you 1,000 because you didn't know how to manage the 100. And let me say this, since we're in the church mode, but this is real. One thing, as I said, he will only give us what we're able to manage. It's according to our ability. And we think when it comes to tithing, we think that that's the only thing that God looks at to say whatever it is, to say what he can trust us with. But you get more things than just money. But you don't remember to give anything from the other things that you give to show God that he can bless you with more. See there? Wait a minute. No. If somebody gave me $5 5 bags of fruit, and a bag of fruit, and in that bag I had 50 apples. Okay, 5 of them apples don't belong to me. I have to give 5. Come on, y'all. 5 of those apples don't belong to me. See, we thought it only worked with money. And what we've been doing is we've been working for money when money is supposed to work for us. Now, what our problem is, and let me tell you what, let me really hit you. The 10% is nothing, because all of it belongs to God. The trouble is what you're going to do with the 90%. That's what God is looking at. You thought it was the 10. No, it's the 90, because all of it is his. He gave the one 5 bags, 5 bags of gold, 5 talents, somebody, the word say talents. And then he gave another one what?
2.
He gave another one how many?
2.
2 bags. Gave another one what?
1.
1. That all?
Yes.
5, 2, and 1? Okay. One thing God don't do is God don't determine what you get from the kingdom. We do. God does not determine what we get. We determine what we get. And that's because of our ability and what we do with what it is we already have, how we manage what it is we already have. So the amount was determined by the ones that he gave the talents or the monies to. Then the word say, then he went on his way. He went on his journey. He went away. He left. And that's what God do. God gives us stuff, he gives us things, and then God leaves. He does. And as I said earlier, he gave us a brain, he gives us a spirit. He does. He gives us the intelligence. He gives us wisdom. He gives us the word. And one thing God said, he said, I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. He said, I'm just going to give it to you and I'm going to go away. And I'm going to see how you manage it. I'm going to see what you do. That's just like what God did with Adam. God gave Adam dominion, right? He left. When he came back, then the snake was in charge. Come on, y'all. So because Adam lost it, God drove Adam out. See, y'all got to get this. Whatever you mismanage, God going to drive you out. He's going to take it away. He's literally going to do it. In verse 16, it said the man who had received the 5 talents, he said he went out. And look, please, let me just say it like this. He said the man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. What did y'all get out of that? He did not go to work.
He put his money to
He
work.
put the money, come on y'all, he put the money to work. The reason why you don't have any more than what you got is because you're working for it. You're supposed to put the money to work. The money is supposed to work for you.
Yes.
We work for purpose.
All right.
Woo! Come on, somebody. Money works for us in the kingdom. And what God does is God usually gives us the resources. He gives us the resources, and he wants us to use the resources to let the resources work for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You know what makes people go through the different types of sicknesses and stuff on their jobs and become sick and they die early and all this stuff? It's because of that kingdom principle right there. They work for money instead of letting money work for them. That's one kingdom principle that they definitely have in reverse. And so many of us do it. Come on, y'all. Come on. we've all, well, I got to go to work. I got to make that money. I got to go to work. And that's what they teach us, you know. That's what they have taught us. You know, we go to work. And you working what? To try to make more money. You work sometimes 2 jobs, 2.5 jobs. You working to make money. Right? But if you work for money, then guess who's the boss?
The money.
Money is your boss. Come on, we got to get our mind right. If we think right, if we think right, we can live right. And if we live right, we can do right. And if we do right, we can get to where we're going. I promise you that. And when you get to where you're going, everything is already there. Yes.
As I read
Come
over
on.
it, okay, forgot, I'm sorry.
As I read over the lesson that you told us to read,
Yes.
what I got from it in the beginning is the gentleman that went away,
The master.
the master. But how I understood it and what I take it to mean is that he was a businessman, and he was going away to take care of business, going far off. Just follow me, please. And as he leaves, he's now left his wealth with us. So that means he's entrusted us.
Entrusted. Yes.
He has entrusted us now with what he has given to us. And the wealth, as you were speaking, I understood I had to smile because what I got from the wealth is the resources. He's given us, he's entrusted us with these resources. And the resources are now supposed to connect with our ability. The resources and our ability are supposed to connect. And inside of our ability is power as well. That gives us the power to take the resources that was entrusted to us, for us to now work in our ability, or actively work in our ability while the businessman is away doing what he has to do, because there is something that we have to give back, as you said, whenever he returns. So this transfer of wealth or resources now makes me a business partner in the kingdom. I have to now, because what I got from this, and just follow me, the kingdom is about expansion.
Yes.
The kingdom is an industry.
Come on.
And because it's industrial, I looked up industry, and industry means that it is a group of companies that are related based on their primary business activities. So God is the supreme. He's the supreme source that gives us resources from him being the source, which is the wealth and everything else like that, to now partner with my ability that makes me now a business partner with God. It makes me now, and that's what the kingdom is. We are all our individual company. We're all individually, sources of income for the expansion of the kingdom is what I'm trying to say.
Individual entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Like we're all businessmen because of the fact that God entrusted us with his wealth. He entrusted us with the resources. So that now makes us all entrepreneurs. And now we have to work in our entrepreneurship in order for it to become industrial for us, so we can expand the kingdom, because the expansion of the kingdom comes from each individual company.
Okay. She kind of went to after because that word entrusted is a very key word, and she kind of like went use that here, and that is the word that's going to be used after the return of the master returns back. But let me hurry up and get to that part, because that is it. So we understand that the one that had the 5 talents, he gained 5 more. The other one that had the 2, he gained 2 more. And the other one with the 1, he took it and he hid the master's money in the earth. Mm-hmm. And now the master comes back. Mm-hmm. Okay, when he comes back, they come back before him, and they have to give an account of what was done. First of all, as I said on another teaching, money does not exist. Money is just an idea and it's a thought. That's all money is. That's all money is. And you're going to find that you're going to understand that with these people here. When he gave them the talents, he never told them what to do with it. When God brought us here, when we were born, he placed in us what it was we were going to need to do what it is he put us here to do. So when the master returned, when he left, he gave them his talents, his money. He left. He never told any one of them what to do with what they had. Why? Because he already knew and he understood that he gave them according to what they had the ability to produce. He never had to tell them what to do. He just entrusted what he had to them that he gave. Now this word entrusted, as I said first, money doesn't exist. It's just an idea. You have an idea, you have a thought, and when you think about what you think about and you manifest that thought makes money. That's where your money comes from. Your money comes from your idea. It comes from your thought. So the one with the 5 talents, it said that he took those talents and he put the money to work for him. The 2 put the money to work for him. The 1 buried it, right? Okay. So as I said earlier, if your thinking is correct, then wealth can be attracted to you. If your thinking is all about your mind, we have literally lived in a mindset that we had to get up every morning, go to work, get a paycheck, get that paycheck, save some money. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with saving no money because that's a part of the principle of the kingdom. He said, lay up for yourselves treasures where? In heaven. He did not tell you that you could not lay it up, but he did not say that you were to save it for somebody else. That's not what he said. But anyway, one thing that we get off, we really literally get off at is this. Danielle used the word entrusted. Let me give you the definition for that word, because when the master returned, and I know I'll flip-flop, I'll go back and forward, but when he returned, that is exactly what he said. The one that he gave the 5 to, the one that he entrusted that to with it, he said that he gained 5 more. You entrusted me. This word entrusted means that he understood. He understood that what he had was not his property.
Right.
Okay? He understood that it was given, but he refused to own it. See, whenever you are entrusted with something, that's why people, and I'm going way off on this one, and I'm going to bring it all the way back in. That's why, now I won't even say it, but I was just going to deal with death, and children and stuff like that. God entrusts us with them. They're ours, but we can't think that we own them. He'll come back and he'll get them. All right? He comes back, coming back to him. So God gives us money and resources as a trust. As a trust. Come on, y'all. He gives it to us as a trust, right? But the question is, do you consume it all on yourself? See, if you're going to take the right attitude and the culture of heaven over the resources and the materials that God give us, then what we have to do, we're going to have to know that we have to be converted. We're going to have to be converted. We can't, it's everything dealing with our mind. Money will come when your mind gets right to attract it. It's not coming because you got to go to it to work for it. Money will come when our mind gets right. Then we will attract. God will give us the resource. He will give us whatsoever it is we need. And we will have in us. When God had Adam in that garden, and when he never gave Adam, he only gave him what? A tree. He said, look, all this stuff out here yours. But if Adam wanted to sit down, it was already in Adam. The tree was out there, but it was already in Adam. How to make the tree a chair. How to make the tree a table. It's already in you. How to make whatever you see before you materialize, that it becomes of use. Not just to you, but it's something that's in you that you're going to produce that everybody's going to have a need for. And once you reach that goal, that is, you find out that that's your purpose. That's your promised land. That's the land that's flowing with milk and honey for you. You know? Yes.
Okay. And one last thing, and I promise.
You good?
Whenever I looked over it, and you were talking about how God did not, and it's true, it's in the Word. He didn't tell them specifically, or the master didn't tell them specifically, well,
Never.
I'm gonna give you this, and this is what I want you to do with it, or I'm gonna give you this, and this is how I need
Right.
it to happen while I'm away. So this is what I'll meet whenever I return. I had said that God didn't tell us what to do with the talents either, because that takes a relationship with ourselves to instinctively know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I really do believe whenever we were created fearfully and wonderfully, with everything that we need inside of us in order to get everything that we need to get done accomplished, it was also placed in us the heart to know the heart of God. And I think through the relationship that I have with myself, it connects me to the heart to go after the heart of God, so I can understand now with what God has given to me, I know what to do with it. Because the only way I'm going to know and successfully do what I'm supposed to do is if whatever I'm doing connects to the plan or the heart or the mind of God from the very beginning, or from my onset. You understand what I'm saying? So, he's not going to give us, he's not going to tell us, I believe in us all, we just instinctively know it, but how we get there is through relationship. So I got to know myself is what I'm trying to say. I have got to know myself, not just like you have told us, not what somebody has made me, not what somebody has told me about myself, but understand what God has said, the heart of God that he has towards me. I have to know that of myself before I can go off and I can flip this money that God has given unto me. And the success of what I give back in return, just like you said, it all depends on how I serve myself and also how I serve others. So whatever I produce, whatever I create, whatever I manufacture, is going to serve its purpose in me knowing myself, relating to myself, and also knowing others and relating to others.
This mindset that we have, that we are to get if we don't have it, is a mindset of selflessness, but yet be selfish enough that you can take care of yourself so that your mind can take care of you. Now, I know that might be a lot to swallow, but listen, if you give the power of your mind, which causes us to be able to think, to reason, and to use that ability to get to where we're going, the worst thing we can do is to allow somebody to talk us out of our purpose. And they literally cannot per se talk you out, but they can keep you from getting to your purpose. Because it's just going to take the mindset. This that we're talking about tonight, it literally deals with a different mind. A different mind. This is not me teaching or preaching about no prosperity doctrine. You got to understand, Christ taught this. Christ said there's only two masters, God and money. But since money is so personal, let's see how you are to allow it to work for you. We are servants of the Most High, but money is to serve us. And that's where we're confused. You're serving money, you're working, you're running, you're killing yourself going after money whenever, and you're praying for it, but yet God is always looking at us to see what he's entrusted us with, what he's given us, how we manage it. On the board I put back there, management is the highest work in the kingdom. Management. Management is the highest work in the kingdom of God for the kingdom citizen, because we understand that he entrusts the resources to us, and we understand that it's never ours. But he don't have to tell us what to do, because he's already placed in us what it is we're going to do with what he entrusts us with. Point blank, period. Okay, so for the one he gave the 5 talent and the 2 talent, he comes back, they have multiplied it. He says, well done, thou good and faithful servant, right? The master replied, well done, thou good and faithful servant. So listen, in order for you to get well done, to be good and faithful, because if you don't increase what he gave you, if you don't multiply it, if you don't make it beneficial to bless more people with it, then you're no good. And we can't receive nothing better than him calling us good and faithful. And he ties it to money. What no deeds you done? Or you think just because you went over and saw about, went and visit the sick, and he ain't call you no good and faithful servant for that. He tied it to money. Read it. He tied it to money. Good and faithful is when you can multiply, and when it becomes beneficial not just for you, but for somebody else too. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. See, one thing, listen, when we get our mind right, we won't pray for money. We'll be like Solomon. Solomon never prayed for money. Solomon prayed for knowledge, understanding, and for wisdom. That's all Solomon prayed for. He said, if I get that, he said, that'll make money. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't pray for things you're not able to manage. You need to stop praying for God to give you something that you don't have the ability to manage. He only gives you what you have the ability. So if you ain't got but $5, that's all you got. See, whenever he said faithful, that's a concept, that's another word for steward. It deals with, it's a concept of stewardship. See, it implies that you are accountable. You're accountable to someone. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You are accountable to someone. So then he told me, he said, you were faithful. If you faithful over $10, he said, then I can give you 10,000. Our work is not what attracts the money. The management does. Management does. So then I got to get to the last servant. Because him and the master, they had a go. They had a go at it, really. And I'm almost done, y'all. But the last one, he said, you know what? He said, listen at what he told him. He told this man, he said, he was afraid. So in other words, he said, I know how you are. I know that you fear of money, it don't go together. The man said that he knew what type of man the master was. And so he was afraid. So what he did was he went and he hid what he was given. And as I say, fear and money don't go together. They literally don't. And he went out and he hid the talent, he said, in the ground. So then he comes back, he says, see here? He only gave him back what he gave him. Now, it does not say, as we read that, it does not say who he was afraid of. So that means that the fear has to be related to the statement before. He said that, right? He said to the master, really, because I'm suspicious of you. and I don't like you. Uh-oh. And you think you better than me. See? You got to understand why people do what they do sometimes with your good.
Wow.
With your worth.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. You got everything. And I was literally afraid to get involved with it. So this particular one, his mentality stopped his multiplication. Y'all, did y'all catch that? Your mind can stop you from multiplying. Why? Because money is an idea. So he told me, see here, take your money, take it back. I'm giving it to you. I buried it. I'm giving it to you the same way you gave it to me. Here, take it back. The master replied. He said, you wicked and lazy servant. He said, so you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. And see, oftentimes we always thought that wicked meant that they dealt with witchcraft or something crazy. And then we used to say the definition for wicked was knowing what to do but not doing it. Right? Well, someone who mismanages money deals in witchcraft. Uh-oh. See that? See, if money's supposed to work for us, if we mismanage it, then you don't have all that you should have. It's okay. See, I know a lot of y'all thinking now because, see, if I was to ask you, just sit down and your last paycheck, itemize what you did with all your money. You'll find out that a good bit of your money, you say, I paid bills. Yeah, it didn't. Your whole check didn't take all your bills. You'll find out what you did with it. Listen, let me show you something. Let me give you the definition for what he meant when he called them wicked and lazy. If I told you that money is an idea, and you find out that this man did not put the money to work for him to gain anymore. Wicked means not using your brain. It's an idea, y'all. And lazy means lack of creativity. The master told him, he said, well, if you wasn't going to do it, at least you could have took my money and put it in the bank and let it draw interest there. Let the bank make money for me. If you didn't want to use your mind, your idea, what's in you. He said, I tell you what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm gonna take it from you. I'm gonna take one from the one. And he gave his one to the one that had the most. Why? I would have done the same thing. Because the more you get, the more you can make. I'm sure I'm going to get to the one that make the most. Yeah. You wasn't going to work my money for me, then at least you could at least put it in the bank and let the money draw interest. So God gives us the resources and he wants us to use it. He uses what he gives us, and we have to know that it's a trust. It's a gift, and we are able to multiply it. And if we don't multiply it, if we don't do anything with what it is he's given us, if it does not work, if we don't use it to work for us, and we work for purpose, then God said he's going to, because you mismanage, he says, I'm going to take what I gave you, and he said, I'm going to give it to somebody else. I'm gonna give it to, he'll give it to me. Gonna take it and he's gonna give it up. Why? Because it all comes from the mind. If you work your mind, the ideas that are in you will manifest and you can bring forth. It will bring forth money. It will literally attract money. Yes, I'm talking about money. Because in this year, you are great. In this year, greatness is in you. You are worth. You are so valuable. We are valuable. And this is the year that value comes forth from us. We're going to multiply. We're going to increase. We're going to get to our goal. And we're going to serve in purpose. And whenever he comes back, we're going to triple what it was he gave. We got to learn to do more than what it is. I mean, not just double a thing. We're going to have to learn how to exceed. And that's because ideas don't stop. Our ideas don't stop. And in this year, I literally hope that we will take the mindset to say when we hear somebody, if there's something that's in you that you can connect with that person, to aid that person in their idea and bringing it into fruition, do it. Because just as sure as you help them, there's somebody else that you're going to talk to that's going to hear, that's going to be able to connect with you to help you. I'm not greater than you. You're not greater than me. We're all in kingdom, and we're all great this year. Just be the great that you are. I'll be the great that I am, and we'll all be in kingdom greatness. Join us again next week. I think we're going to do this again. We're going to do this again. And I want to say that I literally do appreciate the comments that I did receive from our last Sunday training session. Please, questions, comments, statements, whatever. I appreciate them. I literally do. I thank God so much for this one person that whenever I explain rejection, as far as it not beating us down and keeping you in a place where it's oh me, oh my, but it's a place that you have to reject that old mindset. You literally have to reject everything that was already done, because now you're moving in kingdom purpose. You have a goal. You have some place to go. And God has given us the resources to use to get there. We're going to have to take the resources that he gives us, and we're going to have to make it work. It worked for us as we work in our purpose. God bless you. Hope to see you again on Sunday at 9:00 a.m. Central Standard Time on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Christian Ministries, and on my Tabitha Kingdom Facebook page. And then again on Tuesday night, right here at 5:00 p.m. We're going to do it again. So hoping to see you then and there. If you don't meet me here, beat me here. God bless you.